Hello everybody, and do apologise for those weird noises you just heard in the background. This is GT3. My name is Evil Dragon XXL. And joining me in the commentary box, it's a new person that I haven't commentated with before. It is Ryan. Hello.
Hello.
Now, first time commentating GT3, this is for you, so it's going to be an interesting experience. Have you seen a lot of GT3 before?
Yes.
Pren in the wall. That's Pren going off in the background and into the pit lane, I think. So the McLaren already having issues. Sportsland Sugo is the today's round 6, by the way. We have a few new faces, of course. We've lost the car of Archer. He had to pull out of the season due to personal reasons, so hopefully we'll see him back next season and wish them all the best. We have two new cars. We have Jan now in the Audi. He gave up driving the beautiful Porsche and decided to go for an Audi. Now, that's an odd choice because he was doing really well. He was 4th in the championship, and now he's gone. There's Wolf, Big Kid Daddy, all of the drivers there. There is Corvette. Now, he's driving the new BMW Z4 in a simply horrible livery. Absolutely hate that livery. And, of course, he is pretty much almost teaming with Milderman, but Milderman, I believe, driving a different car, if I'm not too mistaken. No, there we go. He is driving the Lamborghini, and off the road, that's down at the hairpin. And also driving the same team, of course, the SBR car of Milderman, the SBR as well of Corvette. Two very close drivers. There is Camo driving the number Mercedes, and ahead of him that one of the Hondas. So, a lot of drivers to come, of course. 12 whole minutes of qualification, so it's going to be interesting, Ryan, to see what these drivers can do.
Yeah. And some powerful top cars going around here for a very small track. And 46 laps of racing to go.
Well, we'll find out, of course. 12 minutes to go, 46 laps, of course, with one formation lap, so 45 technical racing laps ahead of the drivers. Now, remember, of course, that this season has gone from strength to strength. A few drivers have left, of course, a few drivers have joined. Right now, in terms of the championship standings, this does mean that Gaza leads the championship by about 38 points. He's got currently over second place, of course, which is Wolfman, currently driving in the Visceral team in the Mercedes-Benz. Rosberg, of course, driving Rosberg Racing. He has been wiped clean of the championship. He was 1 point behind Wolf in the championship. He's been wiped clean because he changed car, meaning he for now P3 in the championship right now on a casual 104 points. Nearest rival to them, by the way, is Archer. Now, he's left the championship. That means Gunnar Gamble moves up to P5 in the championship, technically P4. He is on 68 points, tied with the car behind, of course, which is Skold and Vector, only 2 points behind. So, incredibly close between Clark, Skold, and Vector. Behind them, Rob Knox and Papano, Big Kid Daddy. And then comes Corvette, Squolts, Pren, Camu, Milderman, and then Jazzman, of course, who is not here. So, a very close amount of cars in terms of the championship. In terms of the constructors, Visceral Racing running away with the championship right now as Vector goes for a slide through turn number 1 and 2 with a 66-point gap over Gaza Racing. Powder Alive, which is the car driven by both of the Hondas, ahead of Rosberg Racing. They're currently on 104 points of lead and 112 total. They've got Rascals, Rev Rascals times 2. Because they have two different cars, apparently. I don't think that's correct. Moving on up, it's currently going down in the championship standings. Ahead of Tasmo Electric, ahead of AET Papano and Squelch Motorsport. At the back, of course, Squelch driving the gigantic Bentley, if I'm not too mistaken. Right now, Vector P13. There you can see Squelch driving the number 38, the Bentley. Often the car that does well in higher altitudes, for example, presumably will do quite well around Bathurst with its giant engine. Here, though, today it's quite high up in the atmosphere, so I was talking to some of the drivers. They're expecting the beautiful Honda to be pretty good in the slipstream. However, it's not very grippy, so we'll be seeing mistakes and issues throughout this race.
So with 10 minutes remaining, Vector on to beat his first lap. That was 9th.
Currently 9th in the positioning there. So Vector, good job there. Currently P9 and doing an okay job. That is another car getting away. I think that might have been Skold just in the background there. And the other Honda, I think not. So might have been another car. Hard to see who it was. Skold right now stuck behind one of the Lamborghinis there. 1.1 litres in the tank. So Skold running very close to the edge right now through the last corner of this circuit, dating back to the 1970s, and a circuit that is almost like this circuit, though it's slightly different. The corners, of course, Turn 1 used to go connect up to where the other part of the circuit is. That little infield sector did not exist. As, oh, he gets to extract their Skull off the road, and Ethan currently goes P1 right now, 117.9. So Ethan's
just gone on pole.
Yeah, Ethan on pole, like I said, yeah. Gaza P2, 66 thousandths behind, and a big gap, 5 tenths to Skull behind. We're waiting to see who the next couple of guys are. Wolf right now. It's plenty of qualifying for him so far. He's just getting grips with the car as well as Clark, Papano as well, and Squelch up to P7. Vettori gets out of the way of many different cars there, and you've got to wonder, Ryan, for the likes of Vettori, he's had an up and down season so far. He's currently 11th right now. How do you think he's going to be feeling in the Honda?
Well, I think he will feel a bit better tonight with the track doing him some good in that car, and hopefully see a bit more of a battle for Vettori. Get up towards the front and battle people like Scald and people like that, and maybe Papa, the Ferrari.
The Ferrari, of course, one of the OP cars back a few seasons ago, got nerfed, and now it's kind of not that good. There goes Milderman in the background. He's gone on the curb, spun the car around. That's the inside curb, gets the car back going again. There goes Pren in the background as well, passing him there. So the McLaren passing there as Wolf comes out the pit. Then there's Scold as well, currently P3 in the, well, currently on the grid, currently see where he can go. The Honda or the Acura or whatever you want to call it. Through turn 1 you go, second gear. Nice easy on the exit. You can see the rear end of the car stepping out. It's going to be a trademark throughout the season, of course. Scolded fantastically in the last couple of rounds. That there, Squelch in the Bentley getting in all sorts of problems there in the way. And Scold now coming up to a whole gaggle of cars starting up. That's Wolf ahead of him there in the other Mercedes.
Ooh.
So gets a big wiggle on there on the curbs. So those curbs again proving difficult for all the drivers. Scold gets past Wolf, or even I think that is Wolf, if I'm not too mistaken. There, the other Honda just up the road. Yep, Wolf getting out the way of the Bentley as well. The Bentley getting out the way, and that is of that I believe must be Rosberg, if I'm not mistaken. There now driving the Audi. And we'll see what the Audi can do right now. He's currently down... where is he? He's currently third, I think, actually. So the Audi doing relatively good. There he is. Rosberg going a little bit quicker right now. 50 thousandths up on his time. He needs to find 2 tenths and 100 thousandths to beat Gazza right now. Getting to P2. So Gazza and Ethan incredibly close in both of their Mercedes, respectively. But right now, the Audi currently doing a stellar job right now. And that's the car Scold would have been driving had he not decided to go drive a Honda, which in my opinion was his back step. But nonetheless, Rosberg crosses the line, goes even quicker, finds himself another tenth and a half, puts himself now just over a tenth behind the car ahead. So a Audi doing relatively well here, and Sugo out comes the McLaren as well, waiting to see who else on a lap. Camo not set a very competitive lap, parting through the last corner now in the Ferrari. And let's see where he can go right now. Comes to line, the Ferrari got a lot of power down the straights. And let's see, the Casper Sky goes up there. 110 puts him up to P9 right now. And we're waiting for Camera in the other SBR car. There goes Wolf off the road. And they're all getting themselves in a bit of trouble. There is Milderman. Goes 3 tenths quicker. Only a P11 though in the Lamborghini. So the Lamborghini right now not showing its true skin right now as the camera decides to go to Narnia. And there you see Vettori coming through the back of the circuit.
You can see there much of that back end wants to slide out through most of these corners. Yeah. Just doesn't look as stable as you would want it to be, but some of these guys' driving styles, and that's how it is.
Of course, Vectro and Skull, the only pad users as far as I am aware on the PS4 side, especially in Elite. Vectro 11 tenths up there, so 4 tenths up. I'm currently in P11 right now. Be interesting if it was 11 tenths. That'll be 1.1 seconds if I'm not mistaken. Currently in only 11 position. He's a long way off his teammate as some 6 tenths. Gazza got up to P1 right now, so Gazza beats Ethan currently then on the standings and immediately in the pit lane. Friend crosses the line, he's not going to be expecting too much. McLaren disappointing so far this season, struggling throughout the last couple of races. Camo as well, not having the best of run right now, and that Mercedes does not seem to be able to hook it up. Like, of course, the rest of the other drivers. He's over a second down on Pren. Expecting him low to improve. I heard a car potentially hitting a wall and going wide up front. That is a Big Kid Daddy top the road there in the other Mercedes. So, Camo, can he get himself off the back row of the grid? That's important. He has a penalty. Stays 14th. Skull in the pen right now. Doing a good job in 4th, I would say. What do you think?
Yeah, it's doing quite well for the Acura. And it shows there is pace in that car. And Vectro only needs to close up 0.6 of a second, and the it'll be on what would be the third or second row.
Right now, Ethan and Gaz on the first row. So second row right now currently for Scold. Wolf are expecting a lap in the couple of moments' time. Camo a bit wide on the curb. Again, struggling there through Rainbow Corner, as it's called, if I'm not too mistaken. So, struggling at the top of the hill. There you can see one of the other cars going out the way of the other Lamborghini. That there must be of Sheen there, or Cool Vip. And there you can see Cool Vip there. Vector or Scold warming their tyres up behind Ethan as well. So, and then, sorry, apologies, it is the Z4 that we're currently looking at. The exact same livery, of course, as Milderman in the Lamborghini, of course. Both teammate car and the SBR team. Camo through the last corner. Can he get a lap in? That's the important question. He is not looking confident in that Mercedes.
He doesn't look quick for that final corner, does he?
He doesn't look quick. He seems to have a really loose end. He does not have the confidence in the Mercedes. Does improve, though, by at least 6-7 thousandths. He needs to find, what, 8, 9 tenths? Over a second, really, to get himself up to P12. Pren as well. Not doing too good in the McLaren, though. The McLaren, definitely one of the weaker cars in GT3, although in GT, in the lower tiers, in Tier 2, for example, it is a decent car. In Tier 1, of course, it is a car that you can struggle to set up, of course. Good, of course, around these high-altitude circuits, for example, Fuji, as well as Bathurst. It'll be very good up there. But around a circuit like this, it just does not have the grip. And the circuit as well is quite a high-speed circuit, which is why we're seeing the Mercedes right now doing relatively well. But I'm saying that as Milderman losing the rear end, that's down probably to do with the slip differential, struggling there. The going off the front onto the throttle, easy to do on these cars. Vicky Daddy losing the rear end as well in his Mercedes. But so far, everyone setting their competitive lap times with just under 2 minutes to go here in qualification. Gaza and Ethan currently P1 and 2. Big Kid Daddy look through the last couple of corners, and he's doing good right now. P8 for him. He's miles ahead of his nearest rival. He's just over a 10th down, of course, and crucially, just a little bit ahead of Milderman right now in the brilliant Lamborghini. I must say, it's a lovely car. Here comes Ethan to the line. Let's see, can he get himself up on the front row? No, he can't. He's giving, presumably, that Scold a tow. And here we can see Rosberg improving 49 thousandths up. So, now put him in a bit closer. He's very close right now with Wolf right now. Wolf just about, that's under a couple of tenths slower as well. So we'll see what happens. But we'll find out in due course. Here comes Rosberg through the last couple of corners. And he's doing good right now. Rear end steps out again on the exit. He's struggling horribly in that car through the last couple of corners. So far, so good. Through he comes last corner. Build up the revs. And let's see, 180, 190, almost 200 kilometers an hour up the hill. Over that crest, you can see cars fly there before in GT1 example. Not at least GT cars, a bit slower. Rosberg to the line. Can he go quick? 60 thousandths up puts him just under 2 tenths behind pole sitter right now. So doing an okay job as well. Puts him just over a tenth, literally, ahead of Wolf.
As once you start watching him on going through into sector 3, he had that back end out so well, and he just kept it going, and didn't lose a lot of speed at all, really. He actually improved his lap time from sector 2 onwards. He was 0.4 hundredths of a second up. Yeah, he ended it with 100 seconds up, 1/10 of a second up.
So he's done with qualifying then. So officially qualifying is over. So they have to finish lap 9. Now Skull coming through turn 1. That's not the ideal line. That was a bit too much on the grass there again on the exit. So struggling there for the Honda. He's it's a bit loose out there. The Honda, of course, been struggling in the last couple of rounds, and you can see smoke pouring out the rear. That's the tyres squealing. And remember, about 140 degrees the track temperature, that 140 C that apparently registered. Scold running a very hot engine, 123 C, so that's pretty much on the range you want to run an engine, because that's going to be overheating very shortly otherwise.
We just had one of the drivers cross the line. I think that might have been Vectro, and there was no improvement there. Maybe it was.
Must have been another car. So Pren cross the line. We're waiting for the two Hondas right now. Vectro, Scold. We'll have a look at Vectro now. He's coming through the last corner. Oh, Scold all out of shape there.
He gets that back end.
Yeah, rear end. He's not looking good. I think he's lost it. He's lost it. He's out of control. Has he caught it? Yes, he has.
Got it.
Jim Carter through there. He's loving the slight bit of Tokyo Drift up there. He's a bit more sideways now. He's lost it completely. And I think now he's given up on the lap and decided to give us a bit of a show. And Vectro's slide did not improve. So, it looks to me then that Gaz are on pole position, the Mercedes. 1, 2 for those guys, with Ethan just alongside him in P2, just over a tenth behind. Good back from Rosberg, low in the Audi. Ahead of Wolf, Skoll there, a good 5th. Clark in 6th, ahead of Cool Vip. Big Kid Daddy ahead of Milderman. Papano in 10th. Vectro not going to be happy there in P11. Squelt, Pren, Camo at the back as well. Did not set a competitive lap time there. Just over a second down on 13th position. That there has got to be demoralising.
Yeah, and I don't know if you skipped over it, but Milden's got a grid penalty, so he will drop down to 10th place for the start of the race. And,
yeah, he does.
Yeah, Piano's going to 9th.
Well, the grid lining up, of course, in terms of the fuel. If we get all the telemetry on, we'll expect them all to be running about 100-ish litres. Remember, the Honda can run extra fuel, so it has an extra 10 litres of fuel than the Mercedes, of course, as well. The McLaren, as well, those turbocharged cars have a little more extra fuel to play with. But right now, Ethan, he's going to be wanting to pass Gazza right now. He needs that championship to come down. 36 points between those two drivers, so he desperately needs it to come down right now. So the question is right now, is he going to try anything down towards Turn 1? So downhill braking into Turn 1, right-hander, so there's always the opportunity to try it.
And I don't think School's oh, there you go. I don't think he's going to last that long with 9 litres of fuel there. But going down for the fuel in, and well, with 91, which is the lowest I've seen so far, with Big Kid Daddy with him as well.
Yeah, Papano running 93 litres in the Ferrari, of course, 98 for Milderman. He's running off to the higher amount of fuel. Expect, by the way, we should see Rosberg. I imagine he'll come in very early. Remember, they don't have to fuel in tyre changes, but they do have to make a pit stop. So as long as they come in the pit stop and do stop for anything, that is fine. And then they can go on their way, of course, to the end of the race. So expect Rosberg, Ethan said he might do it as well. They're going to try and stop early, get themselves out of the dirty air, out of battling, and then go to the end of the race. Try and find qualifying. But remember, though, Gazza is one of the opposite drivers. He likes to go very late and try and run till the end. There you can see on board of Rosberg, he's going to be seeing, hopefully, no Mercedes in front of him down towards Turn 1. Remember, of course, we have that formation up ahead of us here in Sugo.
We go back onto trackside as they get onto their formation lap. You just get synced up.
And remember, wait 5 seconds and they'll be rolling off the grid one by one. And then we'll see who really is going to be the man to watch today. It's going to be most likely between Grazza and Ethan. Ethan there getting his clutch all settled in and then away he goes. Watch out, I've got a strong suspicion that Rosberg might be one to look out for. This is the highest grid position he's had all season long, and his first race really in the Audi. He switched from the Porsche, now driving in the Audi, so he is going to see what he can do. Can he get himself up on for a potential win? His second of the season. He won the first round, remember, in Imola in the Porsche. Remember, that has been wiped clean out because of the switch. He was third in the championship, no longer, of course, only 1 point behind Wolf. And of course, those two 36 points off of the leader at that point. So Ethan, of course, 48 off. So right now, Wolf currently in 4th place, really wanting to be ahead of Rosberg right now. Does not want to be stuck behind him. Coming, 14th position. We're hoping to see him try and come through the field. He's got Fred and Scrolls but ahead of him there, so the McLaren and the Bentley should be relatively easy job for him to make positions up. Of course, those two drivers going to be running a bit slow. But here we go then. Through the last corner, through the 110R corner. And we're seeing who is going to be the man to lead themselves into turn 1. On the inside, we Gaza. On the outside, will be Ethan. Nice and clean for the last corner. One car in the background, Camo, quite far down, but he's closing up now then. So let's get ready to go then here. As we go 2 by 2 then to the line then. Here's it going to be down towards the first corner into, of course, it is called the Axel just first corner on this circuit. Is it going to be Gaza? Is it going to be Ethan? What's out for Rosberg? And remember, look but don't stare, and they're underway then. Gaza, good start. Ethan rather trailing behind as well as they come down towards turn 1. Ethan there trying on the outside in the background, nice and close through there, no contact, and that's what you thought about that as they get through turn 1. Everyone clean away then, and Gaza does the starting wonder there, but Ethan already trying to pressurise him off there. One of the Hondas, that's Skull going wide, Wolf as well, but crucially Gaza's got the start from Ethan. Behind them, Rosberg has all kinds of melee going on in the middle of the course circuit line. And here comes Ethan up the inside, then down towards turn 2 and 3. Can he get the inside line? No, he can't. Has to back off of it there. And now they come down the hill for the first time. And let's see, who's it going to be then? Ethan, they're going to be feisty. He's going to be punchy, then down into horseback curve there. He's going to go around the outside. He thinks about it there. And already the top 4 or 5 positions miles ahead of the middle field. And this is exactly what we're fearing might happen between these Mercedes, because I believe both the SRB boys right now, and they're all kind of trained behind them there, you can see, Ryan, and that's a big gap already.
Yeah, and you were saying about Camo getting up. He is up to P9 already and pushing his way forward as he's getting put under pressure from Piana.
Yeah, Papano there trying to make the position there. Ethan trying to find positions as well up front. 3 attempts to gap right now. And you can see how much an overspeed he's got right now. Not enough though to pull in. Now, Gaza said he was struggling very hardly with the front right tyre. He's not getting heat into it, he said, or he's getting too much heat sometimes. Ethan saying he's comfortable. He can try and go for a win as long as I don't curse him today, which I've done in the last 4 races. As Vector and Squelch in the pit lane, I'm imagining that's for an early stop unless they've had damage. Big kick. Danny's gone off at turn number 1. And he's slightly gone on the curb. So mistakes there. And Gaza right now got kind of the start he wanted. But crucially, behind him, the Audi, which we were hoping we'd see, keeping with them for the first time this season. And the first time since last season, the Audi doing very well.
The mid-pack battle now. The place of what would be 6th place. It was
6 down to 11.
Yep, down to 11. And,
up front,
got
still.
A bit of a gap.
Ethan, he's got a good exit here. He's very comfortable through this last corner. And you got to wonder, down the straight, is he got the toe? Right now, Gaza, he seems to have the advantage right now. Really want to be about 2 attempts, maybe under, to have a chance. The Audi looking feisty as well. It's good to see, by the way, that Rosberg today doing a good job. Normally, we see that last couple of races when he was driving the Porsche, he would drop down at the beginning. Coming very early, probably about lap 2-3. Now, I'm thinking Vetcher and the Bentley have not come together. They've just decided to go for an early stop, potentially get out of the way. They may have had damage, though, because they dropped a long way down to the other cars. There's Mildeman and Big Kid Daddy, I think, coming in the pit lane for their first stops. Now, remember, 46 laps ahead of the drivers. We've got about 2:41 to go. And right now, Ethan's going to be looking forward. He's going to be looking backwards. Skull not doing too shabby as well. He's caught back up right now to Wolf. So Wolf and Skull close together. That is yet Mildeman in the pit. And as you can see, Sean there in the background. Or that, of course, being the other the SRB car, or the SBR car. That there of Corvette. Ethan right now trying to trial on pressure. But this circuit, no real opportunities. Turn 1. If you're brave enough, you can try into turn number 1. So downhill braking zone, but apart from that, there's not really another opportunity. Down to the hairpin could be chance, but of course downhill braking, so it's always going to be difficult.
Yeah, and got these cars being such a wide being so wide, it does make it a lot harder. Whereas previous experience in the GT4 cars, and it makes it a lot easier with the smaller cars. You can make it down the inside a lot easier, and a good place for these guys to make overtake if they're close enough is into that corner there. Try and hold it for this bit here.
Yeah, now I said that it's a sensing right, and that I've tested it before in side by side, and I have many a times launched over those curves, over the top of the other cars. So you expect these drivers, they're going to have to be very cautious through those curves, because especially get launched. And again, Rosberg, he's looking feisty right now. He's trying to find a position in the background as well, the Honda. And we said this in the slip to him, Skold said if he can keep with one of the Mercedes, he can stay with it for a long, long time, because in the dirty air, he's not having any of it right now. And he's struggling absolutely not, unlike that Canberra right now, who is not having the best day.
Yeah.
Though Skold does have a penalty, crucially, there, and I imagine that will be a 2-second time penalty for him. We'll have a little check later on. Yep, 2 seconds, so yep, track limits then. So, easy thing to do, of course, is circuit incredibly tough on the track limits, of course. For example, as well, Fuji, another circuit that has been very harsh on the penalties. And Skold right now, rather showing his teammate how it's done. His team, of course, had made that pace up. So about 43 seconds between the leaders. So about 40 seconds between the pair of them. It's about a 33-second pit stop. So Skold already got a 14-second technical lead on his teammate. And that really shows Vetro is not having the best of times in the other Honda.
No, he's not. On board with Camo as he's trying to make a position on Audrey Piano. He actually lost a position too.
Oh, he's lost it nearly. That's those curbs again. So the curbs causing issues. Luckily, he keeps it in the right direction. That's crucial, because behind him, Squalt's there, and we've seen before that Bentley, when it runs into the side of you, it does hurt quite a lot, because that Bentley, a very straight front end car, and it can very easily flip your car if you get in the wrong angle right now. But Camo struggling, the Mercedes not driving how he wants it to drive, but nonetheless trying his hardest. Currently in P7, a few other drivers behind them have pit, of course, all the way down from 10th downwards, have come in. And right now, the Bentley looking rather punchy in the slipstream, but again, you can see like the lack of downforce that car's got. Though you say that, the Bentley has got a lot of downforce, though for some reason on this game especially, it does not show it as well. It's a rather slow car, but when you're really on it, it's very quick.
Yeah, no, the Bentley's pretty quick on the straights, but it just can't keep the speed through the corners, because its turning radius is like a yacht. But the weight of it does slow it down quite a lot.
Yeah, and it is the only GT3 car with a wooden trim, apart from, of course, the if we ever saw a Rolls-Royce join GT3, I think that might have a wooden trim as well. It does, I believe, still have the wooden trim, actually. I don't think the new car has, but the old one does. Prone in the background, small mistake for him. Meanwhile, run through of your top three, by the way, Gaza, Ethan, and Rosberg. They're currently all still together right now. 8 attempts, and 8 attempts pretty much between them. Wolf there and Skull close together. Behind them, we've got Pano Cam, and then, of course, Squaltz as well in the Bentley. There you can see Pano, there is Camo, and the Bentley right now trying to find any opportunity to find and get past, but I think that Mercedes has probably got a bit more straight line speed for it. The corners right now, that Camo doesn't have the downforce. He just seems to have got the wrong setup right now. Now, he's been struggling this entire season. He's not had the best of luck. Of course, that's few unfortunate, but down the straight, you'll see how quick that Mercedes is. He just pulls away, and the Bentley just left there in the toe. Even that, he's doing 140, 150 kilometers an hour, 146 in the braking zone. On the brakes, he's got a bit more confidence, of course. That car a lot heavier, so it's got a lot more weight to slow down, but somehow can do it.
We missed an overtake on Skull getting past Wolfman.
Yeah, Wolf there, most likely making a mistake. And I imagine that's probably through turn 1, 2. As Camo, there you can see them battling. Prem, meanwhile, dropping back right now in the McLaren. So, starting to struggle a little bit right now, he is. But, crucially, up front, it's a 5/10 gap that Gaza right now needs.
So, I'm going to watch Ethan come through the final sector here. I mean, she looks very quick here. Throughout these, between these three, I think it's they've all got their individual sectors they're good at. It's you can see that Rosberg's pretty quick through sector 1, and he can get the power down, and then Gaz to sector 2 sort of thing. This is where the only chance that Ethan can get a place on Gaza going into turn 1, and then that's sort of it for Ethan.
Well, he needs to try. Now, we know Ethan's a very punchy driver. He likes to go for moves, but he's also very strategic. He knows right now, as I curse him almost perfectly, that he doesn't need to make a mistake. But, as I always say, he makes a mistake whenever I say it. So let's not curse him again, and that drops him down a second and a half. So he has to rebuild that confidence up, and right now, he probably dreads whenever I cut him, and I say something, because he knows whenever he makes a mistake, I'd have probably cursed him. Probably the back of his head, I've got into his skin. Meanwhile, Camo and Squel's batting together.
As Vectro is under pressure from Clark, they're going in towards
Lamborghini. Gonna have a lot of run down the inside. I don't think very much Vectro could do. Fair play around the outside. Oh. Now Vectro, feisty driver there, and he was having none of it there. Clark did not seem to get the front end turned in as much as he liked. They're very lucky. That almost came together. So Vectro, round the outside into turn number 1, does the exact job he needs to do. Does not want to get caught out in the opening couple of corners. And luckily for him, stays out of trouble. And Clark right now is going to be trying to come through, but that Lamborghini is going to be a lot quicker than the Honda. Meanwhile, talking about Hondas, there he is in P4, Scold right now. Good job for him right now. He's really lighting up the timing screen. Last lap, a 1:99. So, about the same pace Ethan is, but Ethan, of course, made a mistake last lap. And he come behind on 1:19.8, so it's about a tenth or so quicker a lap. Scold that. Getting on that curb a little bit too much, and that's costing him time, I think.
Yeah. And that curb there, they're very high, they are, and these low sort of ride cars, it actually lifts the car up quite a bit, and I've actually gone through that corner on 2 wheels in some cars on just in lobbies, and it does wreck you sometimes. Yeah. Camo is still under pressure from Schwantz.
Yeah, they're very much getting close together right now, as well as got to say, as Rosberg currently 5 tenths behind Ethan. Ethan's dropping back a little bit right now. It looks like he made a mistake the last couple of laps. He's dropped down a little bit more. We'll have a look on the timing screen in a few moments' time as they come through the last couple of corners then. So Gaz's last lap was a 1:19.7, 1:20.119.9. So about a 10 for 2 in between there. Rosberg now trying to pressurize Ethan, and Ethan, they're probably looking back right now more than forward. Here you can see Camo, and I don't think that Squelch is going to be any nearer of making an opportunity down towards turn 1. Meanwhile, I'm wondering where the battle between Vector is. He's been overtaken by Clark now, so Vector behind Clark now in the battle for P13 and 12. So Vector struggling, but remember he's made a pit stop already. And crucially, he's quite far ahead. He goes off the road actually. He's quite far ahead of Big Kid Daddy right now, 13 odd seconds. So Big Kid Daddy not having the best of luck right now. He did have that spin on the opening couple of laps.
So Rosberg's getting close to Ethan here through sector 2. But that so Ethan's car doesn't really look to be that powerful down that straight out of his sector 2, start of sector 2 there. And this is where Ethan's powerful with that car. And the tyres get warm quite well, or quite a lot here with the temperature of the track and amount of corners, to be honest with you.
40 degrees, roughly.
Yeah, and it's a lot of right-handers.
Yeah, and, especially that last corner, right? A 110 radius corner. That always lights tyres up. It's a almost flat out right-hander, of course. As we are in the beautiful Japan, they all tend to like calling them after the radius of the corner. For example, Suzuka's 130R, of course, isn't really 130 degrees anymore, 130 radius. And of course, the famous 100R, which is the hairpin almost down at Fuji, that long old right-hander. It's very similar to this one. Of course, we'll be coming to Fuji in a couple of rounds. I think it might be next round or the round afterwards. So we're expecting that to be a wet race. So Fuji, rain, always something I like to see because I like Fuji, one of my favourite tracks. I win there a lot, well, try to win there a lot. Never really ends up very well because I'm not getting murdered into turn number 1. But I try my best, and it's always a circuit that I find quite comfortable. So, and it's very much a circuit. Pond is going to be a very Mercedes-orientated track, long straights, as Scold and Wolf are battling together. Scold there being passed down into the hairpin there by Wolf, as now Scold trying to get back past Wolf on the curb. And here we can see it down inside. Wolf giving the space. He does do so. And I think he had a penalty there because he slowed a lot down there. So a slowdown penalty for Wolf there.
Yeah, and Scold, you actually see Scold let off quite a bit. So that inside line is not where you want to be. We've had that wide line through that corner. Try and keep the throttle down as much as possible. And, that'll be Scold back up to 4th place with a little bit of a margin between him and Wolfman now. The next battle is Camo and Schwanz. It's probably a little bit of a gap now. And soon Schwanz will be under pressure from Fren, who's actually doing quite well in the McLaren. Yeah.
Of course, Fren. Last car yet, well, he's currently last and is in combat mode, man. He has yet to stop, remember, so expect him to drop down the field. He is what, Fren right now for 24 seconds, so he's about half a minute, so he might be ahead of Vectro right now, but definitely not ideal for him, though he is keeping up with the Bentley, which ideally is not another car that's very quick. And fair play, though, they are keeping up with Camo right now, the Mercedes, who theoretically to be going a lot quicker right now, but does not seem to be getting the confidence. Meanwhile, Rosberg and Ethan close together. Now, Rosberg's very comfortable down to turn number 1, and Ethan right now is having to look backwards, and he probably won't be defending too much into these couple of corners right now. It's not really an opportunity down the inside here. Is always a chance, but the nature of the corner is you go up the inside here, then you're going to have to compromise the exit through this corner because the outside line, the best one. So, no real opportunities down there. Maybe if you get a good exit and may commit a mistake through this corner then, down into the rainbow corner, you can always try the inside line, but never going to work really. And of course, downhill braking as well, always tricky. The Mercedes, a car that runs a lot more speed, so it has to brake a little bit more earlier. Meanwhile, looking back as well, Scold and Wolf getting close together as well, down towards the braking zone, I think. Very close to Mercedes, having a little look there for the second, but backed out of it. But definitely trying.
Camo and Schwartz just eventually close back up now, and Schwartz is trying to get past Camo. Camo gets it slightly wrong, and Schwartz the chance of getting right at the back of him, and which he's done there. They nearly will make contact.
Yeah, they
do make contact, and a bit of oversteer after that from Schwartz.
Yep, getting a bit too close up on the rear end there, so bit too much speed. But you've got to wonder, by the way, and I hope no one hits it. Remember, those polystyrene barriers on the inside are a race record, so if you do lose the car there, as Scold and Wolf got a few temps gap, as well as the battle for P2 and 3, but through that last corner, like I was saying, go wide there or lose the rear end and hit those inside barriers, those little polystyrene walls, and they immediately ruin your race. And remember, they'll stay on the circuit for a couple of laps as well, and they'll ruin other people's race, so let's hope no one hits them. Though in the pit lane, Fren has come in that McLaren then, so bails out of his strategy then. 15 out of 46, or about a quarter of the way through this race, give or take. And right now, Gaz, Ethan and Rosberg lead. Behind them, Scold, Wolf, Papano, Camo, Squalt, and the headband of, I believe it is SBR. That must be Corvette Milderman. Then comes the Bentley. Vectro has now got past Pren just about, and Pren's been in the wall. Now that's why he's made a stop, because Pren's hit the wall somewhere, because he's got damage on that car. Here comes Rosberg then in the slipstream. He's going to try down towards turn number 1. He's been brave, but not brave enough to try one on the inside there, that corner. And you have to be alongside or very much comfortable to try up the inside, like we saw with Vectro battling with Clark earlier on. If you have the inside line, it doesn't mean you're going to get that position. really want to try and force the other car to the inside and go around the outside. But Ethan's probably been more too knowledgeable about getting overtaken like that. I'd hardly expect to see him of that caliber recently make a mistake like that.
And Rosberg, there was a little bit of time there, but he will look down the position possibly into the hairpin here. I think it's going to be good enough to make it here. And, Schooled and Wolfman are
battling side by side, and there goes the Mercedes back ahead of the Honda, and there you can see the power deficit. The Honda all season long struggling down the straight. He's not had the best of times, but nonetheless trying his hardest, as long as there's no problems. Meanwhile, Camo battling away with the Bentley, and the Bentley, of course, sticking with him. Here's the corner where they had collision earlier on. Up front, by the way, still about that 2/10 gap. And again, closing up very much so. Ethan and Rosberg getting awfully close now, I think, through the last couple of corners. Through turn 1, 2 and 3 they go. And very close between those two drivers. Rosberg trying left, right. Can't do it. And all the time they're losing the gap. Gazza is pulling ahead. And this is what Gazza needs. Lap 17, 46 laps of this race. We're on the 17th lap. That means about, what, 20 laps odd to go. About 20, 30 laps. Still ahead of the drivers. Rosberg, trying to find and trying to pressurize Ethan into a mistake. The Audi fairly doing a beautiful job today. The best it's done in a long, long time, and since especially last season, where we saw the Audis being very used at the beginning, but not at the end. There is Wolf batting away with Skull, the Honda, as well, very similar to the Audi in terms of its configuration. Also doing a relatively good job. Remember, of course, the Audi a bit more power than the car of the Honda. Again, though, turn 1 and 2, always the opportunity for an overtake there. Before they come, I think Wolf's coming into pit lane. Yes, he is. Meanwhile, Camo, Squawks all batting together down the back of the field. No pullers of my voice, by the way. I have run out of drink, and there you can see Ethan has been passed by Rosberg. Now, that's most likely as he loses the rear on the curb. Now, I'm wondering, have they had a touch? Because they were very close there down to the corner. But the looks of Ethan's car there, very loose. Maybe he got too much traction there and missed it. I don't think he's got damage. It looked like it. That there was Big Kid Daddy overlapping, by the way. And Ethan almost hit him there as well.
Camo is right under some pressure from Schwartz here. And they were touching there through the chicane. Let's see if Camo can defend the position off of Schwanz down into the hairpin of Sector 2. 0.9 of a second slower than his fastest lap, so the tyres are going off the car. And Schwanz looks to the inside line, and Camo goes a little bit deep. Schwanz gets a little bit of oversteer. Yeah, Camo, bit of oversteer, Squad's oversteer as well. Those two drivers struggling with the grip again. There you can see through that corner, through I think it's called the out corner, struggling through the final corner. They come into the 110, and again the Mercedes looking under pressure from the Bentley. The Bentley, of course, hasn't got the straight line speed. He's just not got the speed out of the straight. Skull covering off Wolf. Meanwhile, he's at the pit lane. Oh, he thinks about the inside. He thought about it. Had to back off there early. Unfortunately, did so. And Ethan has backed off quite a bit off of Rosberg now. So the gap is nearer a second between Rosberg and Ethan. Whatever happened in the incident of them two getting overtaking, it has affected Ethan quite a bit, and he's dropped quite a bit off of the pace. You can see on the previous lap, he's 2 seconds slower than Gazza in the last lap.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, Squad's doing a relatively good job right now. Fair play to the Bentley, I've got to say. It is keeping up with the Mercedes, which, to be honest, Camo is not having the best of race right now. It's always going to happen, of course. He doesn't seem confident, especially here at Sugo. It's a very demanding track, and fair play to the Bentley. It's keeping up with the Mercedes, but up front it is gas up. And then comes Papano in the pit lane in the Ferrari, as well as Rosberg in P2 in the Audi. The Audi fairly doing the best job he can do right now. It's lovely to see an Audi up front. You don't often see it. Last time I saw that would have been beginning of the season when Wolf and, Vectro and Skull were driving it. They've, of course, decided no, they're going to go with a very audacious choice. And, well, one of them working well, and fair play to Skull right now. He is behind Wolf by about a second, so Skull there didn't get the overcut. Wolf got a very good undercut there. Behind that Milderman, they kind of have to cover off Milderman as well. Milderman in the Lamborghini, just a little bit further back, and he is probably trying to find the pace right now. Of course, no BMW Z4. I think we have one, of course, that there of Kulvip. The other car there, he is there driving the number 63 on the old Demon Twin.
A bit of damage on the front end.
Yeah, a bit of damage. So most likely got on the curb. The curbs can do a bit of damage. Might have spun the car earlier on, of course, there, but I wouldn't seem to look, especially on my end. Don't think it would have done too much damage. Meanwhile, these two still battling together, and this is turning into quite a little bit of a race between them.
Oh, we missed the battle. Rosberg losing time and going wrong there, and Ethan's back ahead.
Yeah, so most likely dropped it through turn number 1 into turn number 2, and you can see rear end tyres. That's the issue. His tyres most likely are overheated on the rears then, so 140 odd degrees apparently they were reporting, and I don't know how hot that really is, but I feel it's very warm. It's definitely warm.
That's like melting the track temperature.
But apparently about 100 something C, apparently they were saying the track temperature is
C.
About the same there the car is. I'm not too certain if that was Fahrenheit.
But it
might have been Fahrenheit.
Melting the track.
But it's very warm apparently out there. But unless I've been misinformed, I'm reading the wrong one, which I probably am. But nonetheless, it's very warm, and the tyres aren't doing the best right now. Meanwhile, Bentley and Mercedes. Mercedes then behind them. That is the battle between Scold and Wolf. Battling as well as Squelch through the corner. The camera never likes that corner. Maybe we go for an onboard there, right, if we can, in future down there. That'll be good. And in comes Rosberg in the pit lane.
I wonder if he's getting tyres, that's the question.
No tyres.
Nope. No tyres.
So no short stop then. The tyres will overheat 22 of 46, just over half the race still to go, and still the battle there between 5th and 4th, brewing up between Squalt and Cam. Remember, these guys are over a pit stop down, mind, on the cars who are just behind them. And that just shows you how much slower these guys are really running, Ryan.
Yeah, and Scold and Wolfman are back on battling, and they're the highest placed, well, no, not they are. Second and third highest placed cars on track, and you see that these two have got to try and push these two together and pull away a little bit. There is a battle between
Hammer and Squelch, the Bentley and the Mercedes, battling all race long. Meanwhile, Rosberg, who is ahead of them, by the way, the only other car who has made a stop out of the top Real 4, and he's off the road. There he's gone and spun it there, Ryan. Rosberg's off just when I mentioned him. He's gone on the curb. What's out here? We'll have the Mercedes up the inside. We'll have the Audi up the other car there. And he has to be careful. Does do so. But crucially, he got on the curb. On the outside, on the inside there. Spun the car around as on board we go. And this is all going to help Wolf right now. That's released Ethan into clean air. And that's what he needed. And here we can see, look, he's going to go, oh, penalty, they had a penalty, oh, that's lag, apologies there, is now, that's all thrown everyone off there. Rosberg trying around the outside for turn number 1, runs himself out of road though. So, still, Scold and a bit of laggy Wolf. That's never ideal for Wolf for any lags. That normally can be very bad. Luckily, though, Scold saw that early.
Yeah. There's Piana and Clark are battling as well for position. Vectro not having the best of races. He's down in 12th place and under pressure from which would be Pren. But Camo and Camo actually lost position to Schwantz, so Schwantz has made a position on Camo. School trying to get past Wolfman as well now. This is where it all went wrong the lap before. And School looking to the inside line and he's just trying to keep the power down.
Bravo, he's run too wide, dirty. Yeah, what's up? Rosberg will be on the outside. If you go to the outboard cam, if you can, Ryan. We'll see around the outside. Oh, he's hit the curbs, hit the wall. Scott Hodgson and Rosberg as well. They both gone off the road there, and that's a bad position there. There's going to be debris all over the road there. Scott want to be careful rejoining the track there. That's an awkward place to go, and that's caused carnage. Rosberg, I think he got away with it there. They didn't collide, but there's going to be debris. There's going to be damage. Scott there, what's he done? He got on the curb, and I think, yes, Rosberg in. So I think he must have got damage from that as well. And that there was the last thing they needed to do. Scold got wide, lost the rear, got on the inside curb. And that there is that's going to be a huge amount of damage. That's going to be a long stop. That'll lose him a lap. But that there is ruined
maybe
it.
Two.
Maybe a lap or two laps down. But
those barriers there are very damaging to your car. And
I mentioned it right, didn't I? Earlier on, you hit him, and you're going to have an issue. And I didn't rather foretell it, but Skull, that's the second time I've ever seen him have a spectacular crash. The last one he had was on a straight at the Nürburgring, and that's the second time he's had an awful lot. Vector has also most likely got damage. I think they've all had issues down there because of the debris, and I presume they've already cleared it up. Of course, the game, once you got a bit of free air, will clear it, but Rosberg in the pit lane for a light amount of damage, and I can only imagine that he might be taking the stewards there, potentially, but might got away with it. I think that was a racing incident. But too much on the curb on the inside, wasn't it, Ryan? And as soon as you get on those curbs, the car steps out on the rear end. Like I said, the Honda, it's been struggling with the rear end. There you can see Vectro front end all smashed up. And you can see if we go on board through this last corner, you can see on the right, you can see where it's all been completely removed. Luckily, though,
School actually takes up the whole barrier basically of the which is the motorbike layout,
superbike layout. Of course, Superbike's the Super Formula race here. The only real racing here in Japan. Well, the only real major races coming here in Japan, of course. Of course, Super Formula came here just only a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. It was quite a fun race, I think. I was still, if I'm not mistaken. But
that was when Dan Tickman got sacked.
Yeah, Dan Tickman, of course, sacked from the Red Bull drive. Ethan, meanwhile, in the pit lane from the lead. Well, from second. As he comes in, Skull comes out.
Leaving the pit lane now.
That's a long stop. That's ruined it.
Rosberg has completed a lap outside of the pits before Skull's come out. So these two have not had the best of races. They're dropping right down.
Yeah, Rosberg, luckily though, for him, he did not lose a lap. But I can only say that it was a racing incident. That Skull too much on the curb, maybe in hindsight. Should have been too wide, should have been wide, but hindsight's an interesting thing. I'm interested to know what happened to Rosberg, really. Just had no grip out there, lost the rear. Presumably in reaction to Scott, he had to go wide. Might have clipped, might have had a bit of the bollard in his car and just spun around a bit there. But 20 laps to go, Ryan, and only really, Gazza right now yet to stop right now, 30 seconds ahead of Ethan, and Ethan right now, Rob's going to be kind of relieved right now. This does mean he's a Wolf right now on the podium as well, if I'm not too mistaken. As that is the bend in between them, yet to stop.
It is a Wolfman on the third step of the podium at the moment. And yeah, it does take a lot of. It takes a lot of stress off of Ethan's back now. He can just focus on the next 20 laps to go, and try and close in within 30 seconds of Gaza and possibly get a position on Gaza and battle him for the position at the end of the race.
Well, let's see right now. Ethan is 30 seconds. Last lap 1:39, of course. That was his pit stop time. We'll find out, of course, after this lap to see if he's closing or driving back. Remember, Gaz up 10s to go out long, and he right now stuck behind, I'm presuming. That must be Vectro, I believe. No, it's Skull. Yep, Skull. Has to be then. No, it is Vectro. So, Vectro just ahead there, past the debris, of course. And he'll get out of the way, presumably quickly there. Vectro behind Camo right now, and should be released most likely down towards turn 1. Vectro, a driver who will get out of the way very sensibly and very respectably, does so down the main straight. Vectro, one of not arguably one of the most sportsmanlike drivers you'll see. Doesn't always work too well, though, of course, and getting out of the way. He has caught himself out before when battling. He sometimes gets out of the way too much, but let's say fair play. He compromised his own race to help others. And Ethan right now probably wishing that he wasn't. He was getting in all the way. And Ethan right now, a bit of a slide through the last corner, but nonetheless doing good. 30 seconds between first and second. Last lap 1:20.6, so Gaz is still pulling away ever so slightly. But remember, Ethan is not going to have to deal with a lot of lap traffic that's going to be coming up on him.
No, and saying about sportsmanlike drivers, I've witnessed some of his good deeds that he's done, and the other drivers that have done some good deeds. And recently, one of the ESR boys was racing in the league, and one of the drivers flipped over the other car. I was upside down, ended up flipping it over to help them out. But is there any battles going on?
No, not really too many battles right now. SC and Papano, by the way, so Clark and Papano are about 2 seconds between those two. So a bit close together between the Ferrari and the I believe it's the Lamborghini, if I'm not mistaken, unless I very much am, which I'm not. So the hurrah. Meanwhile, of course, Rosberg sculled out really out of this race. So Rosberg, he's still got the potential of overtaking a few cars right now. He's behind Big Kid Daddy and Fred, but that there is rather ruined what looked to be a promising return race for Rosberg, especially in terms of a return for Audi. But of course, that's been rather shafted by Skold making a mistake. And of course, mistakes are always going to be part and parcel of racing. It'll happen. Sometimes you get away with it, like Ethan has before, of course, and sometimes mistakes can happen, you get caught out. And unfortunately, Rosberg just seemed to have caught the unlucky side there, and I think Skull might get away with that. Of course, I don't think that was intentional. Well, it definitely wasn't intentional, but not what Skull needs to be doing, and it does look a little bit clumsy. It's too much on the curb. Spun the car. Fair play though, it's an easy thing to do. That last corner, warm tyres, warm track. The fuel getting lighter, the cars are sliding, and of course we mentioned the Honda, been struggling all race long with grip, all season long with grip, and it's not the ideal place.
Yeah, and Vectro's sort of in the middle of a sandwich here. Camo's 2 seconds ahead, and he's got Pren who's 2 seconds behind him. And, his lap time has actually been quicker than Camo and Pren's lap, so possibly Vectro looking quick in the time after the pit stop, and possibly a couple of places he can gain. But you got the driver who wants to still to pit, and that's going to put him down at 30 seconds, which is going to put him in between Camo, so that's he's not lost a lot of time there. And, Ethan's dropped off a little bit behind Gaza.
Yep, 16 laps to go here in Sugo then for what is round 6 of the AOR GT3 Tier 1 PS4 Championship right now. Your commentator, Evil and Ryan. If you are just joining us right now, we have currently got a race that is currently becoming a bit of a procession right now, but especially Gaza, who is yet to stop 30 seconds up the road. It's about a 25-second pit stop. Milderman, meanwhile, closing up to the back of Wolf right now. So Wolf's made a mistake recently, of course. He's dropped back a little bit right now, so that third position, potentially, of course, counting when the Bentley comes in. Under pressure right now from Ben, of course, Milderman. He is now running the SBR user now on him, of course, but a Milderman, often a driver that loves to race, of course. The commentator throughout the first part of the season before, of course, jumping back into the race car. Nonetheless, though, doing a good job keeping up. It's a strong race for him so far. No questions of what do you say there. We're into the hand of likes of Skuld and Rosberg. Well, right now, Rosberg is closing right up on Big Kid Daddy right now, down at the back. So, Rosberg's race is not in vain. He could probably, I think, get up to P9, you know, right. He's, what? Last lap, 1:19.4. The camera right now, 1:21. About 2-3 seconds a lap. The gap, about 10-15 seconds. We've got about 15-16 laps to go. It's always possible.
Yeah, and you can see that some of the drivers have got problem with the tyres, and Bagtro's actually had a bit of a problem. His last lap was a 1:24, and that's not going to that's going to compromise him quite a bit. He's got drivers like Rosberg, who's wanting to push to close up, and he is closing up the back of Big Kid down at B.
Well, and you can see BKD there.
16 laps ago.
Yeah. About
oh, as we heard a
14 laps. Milderman there closing up on Wolf. Gap now about 1 second. Cool Vip there, and Camo and Retro as well. Behind them there is Pren, Big Kid Daddy there, and Rosberg. I'd love to see, by the way, if we can cut to Rosberg. We'll see how close he is. So there you can see the other Mercedes behind him there. That's Skuld, who is, by the way, a lap down on everyone. He's at 2 minutes 40 seconds off the lead. That'll be about 2 minutes, counting whenever it comes in. But bit of a mistake there from Rosberg. And let's not curse him, Evil. He's going quicker. Meanwhile, Skuld not having the best of luck. And gotta say, he's not having the best of luck when he thinks it's going well. He was hoping to do well today, and he's all then going and throwing it away with a relatively easy mistake, but one that really you'd got away with if those barriers weren't there. Unfortunately, though, they are there, aren't they?
Yeah, and it wasn't really Rosberg's problem, to be honest. I think it was Skuld. Skuld lost it on the inside and just hit the barrier, and then Rosberg seemed to be fine, and then just sort of lost the back end as he was going up the hill. So I think it was more tyre wear and tyre temperature that cost Rosberg that spin. It put him straight into the Armco on the outside of the track and gave him a bit of damage.
Yeah, that of course, or he most likely got hit by one of those polystyrene bales. Of course, we don't see exactly where they are for the other drivers, of course, so he most likely could have hit that as well. That could have another reason he had damage. Meanwhile, Milderman here closing right up on Wolf. Wolf's going to have to keep to the line, I think. Don't try and cover it off on the inside. He'll be able to hold on the outside. Milderman going to break! Skull! Wolf covers him off very late there. And Milderman has to back off that one. Wolf, very, very late move there. He might just get away with that one. But that was very low on the brakes. Luckily, Milderman saw that coming. But Wolf, very aggressive there, like he's entitled to do so. One defensive move into the braking zone. Didn't do it too late. Did it just before the braking zone. But here we go, though. Milderman trying to find the inside line. Not going to do it there. Behind him, Clark, about 5 seconds back. But Milderman, well, about 13 laps to go. Looking feisty. And I don't think Wolf's going to be doing too much there. And, of course, these two had a bit of an issue recently, of course, with one saying one's faster, one thinking they're faster than the other one. So a bit of a conversation between those two. But Milderman trying his best right now. If we go to the onboard for that, the bonnet cam for that next time, if we can, Ryan, that'll be good. Yep. That on the roof. But nonetheless, through they come the last couple of corners. This is where the Lamborghini looks a lot more comfortable now. You'll see him close right up. 3 temps, 2 temps to gap. He really needs to be about 2 temps exiting here if he wants the real opportunity to come through down towards turn number 1. He's a bit too far back this time around.
You're looking to the inside line, trying to make
unsettle him. Not going to do it.
It's not going to do it there. And Wolfman keeps behind for a little bit longer. As we've got 13 laps to go for these guys. And Gazza still not pitted, which I am surprised about.
Yep, Gazza, he normally does this. He'll probably pit around, presumably lap 42. He'll come in. He's got on a 37-second lead. So if Ethan's made a mistake, that's through and through. He's made a mistake recently. He's dropped down a bit more time. So presumably this lap time is most likely going to be a relatively bad lap time. So we'll have a look at it in a while. But what his lap time is. But he's made a mistake somewhere. Because about 30 seconds. So I'm imagining it's going to be a 1:26. So he's most likely dropped it through turn 1 and 2. Meanwhile, Vectro in 10th, he's getting caught by Pren in the background there. That is Rosberg and Big Kid Daddy getting close together as well. As Wolf and Cat Milderman closing up as well. Fair play. Ethan didn't make a mistake actually, so he's just been a bit slower. He's about he's over a second slower a lap then. So just shows right now Gazza leads the championship right now by 36 points. Should stretch up to I believe around about 45 points if my calculations are correct. Maybe even more. Ethan should jump up to P2 in the standings. Currently is P3, so he should jump up to P2 now with that second position. Theoretical still for the championship. You have 4 rounds to go, of course. 3 are counting, of course, after this one. Technically 4, of course, because next round will be that, and then we've got 3 after that one. But, of course, midway through the season, give or take. Milderman currently ahead of Clark, and he's stuck behind Wolf.
So, we've got just under 11 laps to go. 11 laps to go. As a summer, still leading away, and this battle is hitting quite the eye catcher for tonight at the moment. In the second half of this race.
Now, the video plays, so Milderman's going to do it right now. Is unless Wolf makes a mistake through the last couple of corners, which he's not, he's going to have to try and close him up right down towards turn number 1. Get a good exit through that last corner. He needs to be about 2 turns behind, coming to the line, maybe even 1, and then you could try a lot. Of course, he could try and pressurize Wolf. I think that's gone wide, actually. He did make a small mistake there, I thought. But nonetheless, I think he's still just ahead. So Wolf, I think, just ahead. About 3, 4, 5 attempts there. He's still just ahead there. So he got away with it. Made a mistake through turn 1. Got a bit too wide there. Again, a bit wide there as well. He's most likely feeling the pressure.
Oh, where's Wolfman?
Lag.
I wonder if that was lag.
Nah, it was lag. That's your once in a little while, and that's something that Wolfie struggles with occasionally. Of course, he's been eyeing. That's been good recently, but lag, of course. I believe there might be a storm potentially. Wolf said there was a storm potentially brewing near him, so that could be the reason he's having lag. Hopefully, it doesn't cost him what potentially is a podium now, because remember, you're still waiting for Squelch to come in the pit, and he stays out still. It's closing up actually to Ethan as well. So those two, very close matched, and Ethan, what about 7 seconds ahead of Squelch right now, getting caught. He'll be comfortable. He's got about 10 laps to go to the end of this race, so he should be relatively comfortable from any pressure from Wolf and Milderman, of course, but he doesn't need to make a mistake.
Yeah, and Rosberg is actually putting some pressure onto Big Kid Daddy now. And I've been battling for about 2-3 laps now, and Rosberg's just trying to get that Audi through the inside of Big Kid Daddy at some point. He is not happy with that car and how it's performed at the moment.
Yeah, to be a relatively easy job, to be fair, once he gets close enough. But we'll see. Down into turn number 1 they go. And he's a bit too far back right now, but imagine with the pace he's got right now, that last lap from Rosberg 121, so he's dropped back just a little bit right now. He's just kind of stuck behind right now. But he should theoretically be able to get past these guys with relatively ease. He's got that pace advantage, but when you're stuck in dirty air, which these cars do have a little bit, not as much of course as some other cars, but they do have a fair amount. You just kind of have to try and bide your time and find the position a different point of the circuit. Meanwhile, Mildeman still too far back to try anything on Wolf. Behind him, Clark now 2 seconds. He's a little bit too far back.
Schwartz is in pits.
Yep, Squad's in for his scheduled stop then. Mildeman through turn number 1 then. And they are getting caught by Clark meanwhile, who's being taking about a second out of lap. So, closing up all the time. 42-second gap between first and second, however. And that really just shows Gaz has pretty much almost got this in the back. Unless, of course, he has an issue.
Rosberg is trying to get past Big Kid Daddy quite aggressively now, and this, I don't think it'll settle too well with Rosberg being down in 13th position, where he could have been possibly third, fourth place or so at this point in time in the race.
Yeah, scores, by the way, came out just behind. It's just behind Papano there, so 1 minute 12 out of Corvette. Meanwhile, Rosberg not really going to get a position through here, I'm afraid. Difficult area of the circuit. I mean, the real opportunity is going to be try go around the outside. That's not going to work, my friend. You put yourself on the grass. I think Big Kid Daddy there, I think, let him through.
It sort of works. They're going to be side by side now.
Yeah, Big Kid Daddy slowed up there. I think he's letting him through.
Oh.
He's letting him through. So he felt he impeded him that. And fair play, Big Kid Daddy there. Felt like he impeded him. Got out of the way. So rather ruined that one. As long as he doesn't make a mistake, is the crucial thing. So Big Kid Daddy not going to fight it. Knows this is not the race for him to fight in. And gets out of the way. Meanwhile, this battle still between Mildeman and Wolf. They're still together. Wolf a bit lax still behind them. Clark is catching right up on them, by the way. 1.8 seconds. Last lap from Clark, 1:20.1. These guys 4 or 5 tenths down a lap. So, with about 7, 8 laps to go, give or take. They're going to be close. Mildeman rather stuck behind Wolf right now. He's probably getting flustered as he feels he could probably go quicker. But Wolf, who's doing a stellar job in that Mercedes, holding the position.
Yeah. And Milden just doesn't have the pace through the end of Sector 2 and start of Sector 3, but he closes up quite a lot here. Coming up the hill towards the line, he closes up and then it gets to this point here over the crest. Just can't close up enough to get this position. Needs to be within about 0.3 of a second coming around that final corner.
Yeah, consider the brakes as well. Closes a tenth or two up each time. So he's close, but he needs to be closer. And that's where the Mercedes comes into its characteristics. It's good on the straights. And when you're in the slipstream, the Lamborghini, no slouch. But that Mercedes, give or take it, is probably the best car. Like we saw at the mod, how fast it was. It's ludicrously fast. And for example, a track like Fuji, like I mentioned, going to be a very much race where Mercedes could be very strong. Mildeman's best opportunity right now is most likely try and force Wolf into a mistake or try a desperate move. But Mildeman is not going to be doing that. In fact, he's going to try something and make a mistake most likely. Like he does so, just want to mention it. So, 7 laps still to come here in Sportsland Sugo here for the first real leg of Japan. We've still got another couple of Japanese circuits to go. Last time out, remember, at the Chinese Grand Prix at Zhuhai. So from one circuit that was difficult to overtake to another one which is arguably just as difficult to overtake, and we're seeing it today right now, Ryan, that not really that easy to overtake. Mildeman's closing up, but still no cut of the fist to try and come through on that Mercedes.
So School has retired from the race after sitting in pits.
Skull out of the session then, so we'll hear from him.
As Gaza is in the pits.
Gaza in.
And where is Ethan? Ethan is coming round to start Sector 2
back,
now.
so it'll close up to about 17 seconds.
Gaza is into the box, so this is not going to be close enough.
No, 17 seconds right, I'm calling it. So big gap meanwhile. 3rd and 4th position.
Gaza's out. Gaza's underway in the...
way more than that actually, so
Mercedes again.
up to about, that's way bigger than that, so But it's super interesting to see the true gap.
Oh, actually.
But 30 seconds, I think. 30 seconds. So it's been interesting. Meanwhile, if we can go to second and third and fourth, if we can, they're getting still close together. This battle between Wolf, Milderman, and Clark. I said Clark was closing up, didn't I? Now he's on the tails.
Yeah.
He's been taking constantly about, what, half a second out of lap behind them as well. Papano's catching as well. He's taking out a second a lap on Lee's guys as well. So, 6th place is going to be close between 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So, we've got that 42 or 46. That is now 4 or 5 laps to go here in the beautiful circuit here in Sportsland Sugo. Wolf, Milderman, Clark, Papano all closing up. Behind them there, a big gap down to Squalt, and then of course the rest of the field.
Yeah,
Milderman, doing good.
The point of the final, I think by the time of the final lap, it could be Papano on the back of these guys, and that is Milderman's getting it a bit wrong.
Yeah, got on the curb, not going to help him at all. Struggling on the traction there, and now he's going to have Clark all over the back of him, and you can see now Clark's going to have a good run here on his fellow Lamborghini, so he's going to have to cover the inside line, and he'll try and squeeze him wide, and
squeeze him
wide to the outside. Has he made the corner? Yes, he has, and whilst these two battle, this is allowing Wolf to pull away, and Wolf wants this right now, these guys to battle and get themselves in all sorts of trouble, because remember, Clark's going a lot quicker than Milderman right now, and probably wants to get past as soon as he can.
Yeah, and Milderman's looking a bit in trouble with the car. He doesn't seem to have the pace that he had like 2-3 laps ago. 3 laps ago, he was setting 120s, and he drops it off quite a bit there, and he's at 121. So, see if it's just a speed problem or what. But at the moment, this is a battle for 3rd place in the race, and Papano is 3 seconds behind this group, and it's not going to be close enough yet. But Wolfman is pulling a gap on the 2
contact
and one of them's off.
Milderman in the wall. He's going to come back on the circuit. What's up for the Ferrari? Yes, he does. They touch. The right rear collects the front left there of Clark and Milderman. I think they must have got a little bit too close. I don't think that was anyone's fault there. It was on the curb as well. And that there.
The Clark's still going.
Yeah, Clark's still going. Doesn't get any damage from that there. So glazing touch between the two of them. Not what he wanted to see, but of course that's what Wolf wants to see. Them having issues. That 44 or 46. We're coming on to the penultimate lap. Gap 20 seconds. So about what I said then. About 20 odd seconds. 40 to 20. So
yeah, so
pretty close to that.
44th lap now.
Yeah, 44th.
Clark looks to be quite quick with the in this Lamborghini. He's got quite a bit of pace with it, and in that sector, in that final sector alone, he closed up 0.3 of a second on Wolfman. So Wolfman could lose 3rd place in the race here if he's not careful.
Yeah, he definitely could, but Clark right now doing a relatively good job. And Gaz up front, 23 seconds, pulling the gap more and more. He's over a second lap quicker than Ethan right now. Ethan's got nothing he can match. Leader, of course, but his co-5, Mercedes 1, 2, 3, Lamborghini 4, Ferrari 5, Lamborghini 6, and then comes the Z4, and then comes the Bentley, and then comes the rest of the field.
No, it is the
like I said, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Lamborghini, then comes the Bentley, then comes, of course, Z4. Behind that's the other Mercedes, then comes the Honda ahead of the Audi, battling very close now with Vectro, and I don't think Vectro's going to fight this one too hard. Immediately to the inside line, and you'll see the car up the inside there. Rosberg through. Vectro's not going to really be able to hold too much there, and no, he will not. And through, now up to P10 as Vectro a little bit lag there on the exit. Clark, meanwhile, got that gap down to 1 second. We're on the last but one laps. So the final but 1 to go here in the race here. It's Sugo, Sportsland Sugo, bringing up a rather tame race compared to the last couple of races, but nonetheless an enjoyable one. I hope you've been enjoying it like I have. Clark closing up on Wolf, so he's still got a potential for a Grand Slam finish here today. As we now enter the last lap for your race leader, as he's got the gap now really far ahead of Ethan right now. And these guys, by the way, they're not too far behind Ethan, about 10 seconds. And going out, Ethan's made a mistake. Well, the last lap 1:23.3, so he's dropping backwards a bit now. I remember Clark and Parner both have penalties, so whatever way, Wolf, as long as he doesn't make a mistake, will finish on the podium. And that's crucial. Meanwhile, up the hill, if we cut to your leader, by the way, they should be coming through down towards the hairpin, down the back straight. There he is, Gaza. He only have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 corners to go then. He's got lap traffic ahead of him. That is Rosberg.
Rosberg and Camo.
Yeah.
So Camo's under pressure as well. Oh, as that is a battle we need to check on. As Camo has lost position
got through
to
then.
Rosberg, and Camo's got a problem. I think Camo doesn't want to complete another lap, and I think that's true.
Well, Gazolet comes to the line.
No,
here
Camo's out of fuel.
In Japan, and Camo's in the pit lane. Gaza wins here in Sportsland Sugo, his second victory of the season. Fair play to him. And now we wait for Ethan. He'll be the next car to cross the line then.
These two are very close now, and into final corners. Final corner now. Is Clark going to be able to make a lunge on the final corner?
No, he won't do so.
You'll
have to get a massive run. That Mercedes is massively good down the straight. So Ethan there. So here we go then. Side by side. Let's see. Can Clark get a line then? He's a bit too far back. I think Wolf's going to get it. Yes, he is. The Mercedes, far too much straight line speed. Nothing can Clark do but clawed up in the end. Clark in 4th with a penalty, remember. Papano in 5th. And gets overtaken by Mildeman, actually.
That is 6th, actually. Mildeman's got it.
Yeah, Mildeman without that penalty. As they'll stop down at turn 1. Squelch there.
Schwantz and Colt.
Yeah, Bentley should easily be able to get that position. Remember, Corvette with a penalty.
Yep.
So, 8th position for Corvette. Rosberg. He's going to finish P9 in the end there, so not too shabby end to the race there. Got back through there in the end. So, Rosberg does pick up that final position. And his last cut across the line.
8-second penalties.
Gaza wins here in Sportsland Sugo from Ethan there. 32nd gap there. Wolfman 3rd. Clark 4th. Mildeman, Papano, Squelch, Cool, and then comes Rosberg, Baker Daddy, Camo, Vetro, Pren, and Scold. And now I'm going to unmute Scold, and we'll speak to some of the drivers. As now we'll speak to the first man, really, in terms of the running order. That there of Ethan. Had a few issues out there in terms of tracks, and it looked like made a few mistakes, but apart from that, a very good race. Just the leader was a bit too good out there. How did you find it?
Regarding the traction, I didn't really struggle, if I'm honest. The car was pretty decent, to be fair, compared to yesterday. I can't keep up with Gazza. This is one race where I have to admit he is just faster than me. He was just on another level. I mean, when you compare the sector times, he's always just that 2 tenths or 3 tenths faster, and I just can't keep up with him. I just gotta openly admit he's just on another level. But I'm happy with the result, and Dylan is just as happy as well. We both got a podium for VSR, and yeah, it's better after the calamities of the last few races we've had. This is something that we've needed for a while, and it's something we definitely need in the chase for the title, because Gazzo is within range, but certainly opening the gap, shall we say.
Yeah, talking of Wolf, if you are there, had a fantastic battle at the end of the race as well with the Lamborghinis. Take us through how you found it out there.
It wasn't too bad. We were struggling a bit with understeer. Obviously, we had the battle with Scold in the first half of the race. We thought he lost it. we were running a bit tight on fuel, so we were quite lucky for Scold and Rosberg did win it because it gave us the margin to be able to fuel save slightly, which is what allowed Clark to close in. So that last half of the race was very tense because we weren't too sure until about lap 42 if we could make it or not, but no, we had a very good result. We gathered, which was again, like Ethan said, on another level today. Let's just hope that next week Indianapolis is a track that suits me, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, moving on from you down to Vetro, if you're there. How did you find it out there?
Well, I had a really great start, that's sure. But a few corners later, there were some cars spinning in front of me, and I couldn't. Well, they just spun straight in front of me, and I got damaged immediately, so I had to pit early. And then I just kept racking up penalty after penalty after penalty, and still managed to finish 10th at the end, but fell down to 12th again. So yeah, I'll see what I can do about those penalties because some of them are really doubtful.
Indeed, and now on to Skull, my friend. Now, you had a bit of an incident in the race. You hit the Armco barrier, and it didn't end very well. Take us through what happened there.
Went slightly wide, didn't I? Second to last corner. That compromised my line as well for the last corner because Thingy was on the outside. The tyre was cooking at that point, so, and I didn't want to hit the Audi, so I was staying on the inside and I clipped the curb, which unsettled the car and went bowling basically.
Yeah, and of course, doing that, of course, injured the Audi as well because he got a massive amount of debris in his face and spun off into the wall. So, issues there, but ended up kind of recovering east, not really because he did finish last, but kept up with the Audi in the end. So, apart from that, was it a very lonely race, was it for you, or did you enjoy it?
First half of the race was brilliant with Wolf, to be honest, and then the little battle with the Audi for the 1 or 2 laps.
And then death.
Wolf gave me a few heart attacks in that race, but
Something for that.
yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
That's what you expect.
Shame I missed out on the podium. Because I think I probably would. I don't know if I would have got it or not. Because obviously, the Wolf was fuel saving.
Yeah.
Well, indeed. Well, from for the final word from me, I have to say a fantastic race here in the land of Sugo, the land of dragons, as well, the land down under. We'll see you next week in Indianapolis for the American Grand Prix round, the intriguing Indianapolis. Until next time, from me and Ryan, take care and goodbye.